Well, why don't you just do a quick intro for yourself for roofing contractors or partners that watch this. Give us the creator's den. What is the creator's den, and what do you do?
So we help people create with a purpose. We focus on personal brand and how you can approach that, and then how you can execute it with content, right? Whether that we're doing it for you or we're teaching you it. So we teach you how to create with a purpose, and that's the driving motivator. Because sometimes people create content, they have no idea how the content can serve them, right? So they shoot content because they know they have to do it.
Yeah.
But there's a science. Just like everything, there's also a science to content. And so we make that very, very easy for people to do. Yeah, right? It's for anybody to do.
Breaking down the strategy, because the creation of the content is the tactic. Like just filming a video is a tactic.
Yeah, it's a tool.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
Right. But the strategy that you're using prior to that, like the high level strategy is what determines what that final output's going to be. So if you have the wrong strategy, you might have the right tactic, but just creating content because you feel like you have to is not necessarily going to get you the results you want if you don't have the right strategy. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Think about it like baking. Okay, do you bake?
I have.
You have. Okay. Are you good at it?
No, I wouldn't say.
So what do you know about baking?
When there's a process, you have ingredients, put it together, you follow the steps.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Got ingredients. Some people, if you were to bake a cake with the wrong recipe, let's just say you were to bake 30 cakes with the wrong recipe, what's the cake gonna taste like? Probably gonna be bad. Like if you got more baking soda in it, then you know what I mean. If you have the wrong ingredients, it's not gonna be enjoyable. So what happens is a lot of people approach content creation like baking with the wrong recipe. What do I mean by that? What they'll do is they'll create massive amounts of content with the wrong recipe. And as a result, what they will do is they will force their audience to eat 30 bad cakes rather than if they had the right recipe. I'd love to eat a good cake with the right recipe. And so a lot of times in content creation, what people do is they don't think about the recipe. They just know they got to bake cakes, right? In the metaphorical type sense. And so you don't, a lot of people sometimes don't think about the effect on the viewer, right? Is this going to be a video that gives somebody like a really good gut feeling, or like, is this going to be the right recipe to make someone get the information that they need to? We talked about it earlier with James. We were talking about how Jon started doing his podcast, and then after the podcast that we did and some of the coaching that we did, he started reshooting his entire intros for all of these, right? Because now he's adding the right recipe to set up the rest of the video, right? Because sometimes people flounder when they start off, so they don't know what the conversation is going to be, and so they try to give this intro that isn't going to help the audience, give them clarity as to why should I watch the next 20, 30 minutes of this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was a thing that you had coached Jon on. I started doing. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Speaking of Jon, my co-founder, I mean, you helped us put together a beautiful studio. So thank you for that. It's also really good end result. One of the things that I've heard from him is just how much more excited he is about content after working with you, but then also just having that space to work with. I think the one thing we're working on this year is getting more guests into the space, and I think he's maybe had one guest so far. He's in mostly solo content in the space, but yeah, I mean it's been really cool. How many studios? Just curious, like how many studios like that are you and your team building out per year?
This last year, so the beginning of this last year in 2025, kind of going back because we're 2026, I haven't built any in 2026 yet, but we had a plan for 36, and I think we ended up tripling that between working not just in this space, but we also work directly with TikTok, and like TikTok has brought me into headquarters to like coach the creators on how to do live stream setups and stuff like that. And so we dialed in like a large volume of that for live streamers, but then the studio builds are also include that. There's like big ones. There's ones where people just want to be at their desk and they want like just a nice setup where they can just hit record and go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we ended up tripling that this last year, which was super unexpected. It's like a product that we're really trying to refine more and more because like I don't know anybody else in the space that's doing it. So the kind of capacity that we're doing it.
Yeah. From a business, as a business owner, what has been your biggest struggle with that? Because I mean, doing triple your projection, that's got to put some strain.
The biggest struggle that I have had looking at the studio builds is so it's great that we are maybe we're like probably in this space, specifically in the blue collar space. We're like pretty rare of like an organization that will serve people that aren't, doing $100, $200, $500,000 studio builds. So we like have like a lower ticket, easier entry for people. The biggest struggle for me has been in business. Sometimes you can look at other businesses or like the same business and say, oh, that's how they grew and scale. Like in roofing, you can say a $20 million company can tell a $1 million company, hey, here's what you have to do. Like right now, you got to hire this person. You got to do this thing. You're going to run into these problems. For us, because we do not have as much competition, it's hard to find like those mentors. So it's like I've had to learn everything the hardest way. Like I've had to try to build my own roadmap as I go and figure out my own problems that occur with this without necessarily getting wisdom from other people that have studio building businesses.
So it just doesn't always carry over.
It's like it's hard to find mentors that you're like, oh, you grew and scaled your studio building business to XYZ.
Yeah.
Can I pay you for mentorship?
Yeah.
It's hard to find those people that are doing that organizationally, not just as solopreneurs, because there's a lot of solopreneurs that'll do studio builds.
Yeah.
But we're doing it as an organization. So I had to figure out, okay, in order to to operate lean, I need regional people so that when we have a studio in LA, I can just fly out to LA and then have a couple of my guys with me or stuff like that and figure out like the roles and the seats and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest like growing pain that I had was trying to figuring out what those seats were.
Yeah.
So build like a vision that I had for this and how I see it unfolding. So I think that's for me kind of like the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And talk to me about, so Creator's Den, that's the more, it seems to me like that's probably the more scalable side of your business, right? It's like the online, the coaching.
Yep.
Is there kind of, what is the offering there? Are there kind of different tiers to it?
Yeah, so in the Creators Den, it's essentially a coaching program. So I could go to coaches and be like, how did you scale your coaching program? Which I'm finding out that a lot of coaches that are doing it really well, it's actually pretty difficult. But
most businesses are a lot more difficult than people think.
Yeah. Well, like with coaching, you can't. The way I started the Creators Den, I started it with like production people. Production people aren't necessarily coaches. They can be very analytical. They can deliver like information. They can tell you how to shoot things.
Yeah.
But then like, let me walk you through step by step how to edit this and to like dumb it down. So for us, we actually started the Creators Den just to kind of give some context. We actually started the Creators Den because of the studio builds. We saw that people needed like a lot more handling and a lot more help. And so we were like, well, let's create this program that'll like, okay, now people can meet with us and go through their strategy. Because what I will say is one of the most overlooked things is thinking that the videographer and the strategist should be the same person. They should almost be two separate roles. And so when we built the Creators, then we focus more on strategy now because like, how can you critically think of ideation so that you can just use the tool that you're out in? And so now you have the tool.
Yeah.
Now you have the systems, like the whole studio, how you creatively and strategically think of how to create with a purpose
In that studio.
Yeah, so that the videos actually do the things that you need them to do.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because we do the same practices that we teach people. Like when I was doing your studio build, we did a full YouTube video transformation, and we did it with the right recipe that we learned from our content coaches. And we closed we closed our first YouTube lead off of it because she went to Google, she like looked up like podcasts about her. She saw the YouTube video for ProLine. She watched that and she binged our content and reached out. So the things that we're teaching people, we're also doing
yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that answers.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That makes total sense. I like it.
I just thought I'd tell you that too, because like you were the first YouTube lead that saw the first video that led to the binge effect.
That's awesome.
Of people being able to binge our content. So
we're really heavily invested on YouTube in general, and I think we are somewhat guilty of the 30 bad cakes, but we do get the 30 cakes out. But we see the same thing. If we can just get them onto our YouTube channel, they're engaged with one video, then they tend to binge, and that leads into them wanting to talk to somebody on the team.
So there's an actual rule. There's like a fundamental rule that goes along with this, which is that it's the 7-11-4 rule. And so in order for someone to buy from you, they need to be able to spend 7 hours with you.
7 what?
7 hours with you.
Yeah.
See you in 11 different placements online.
Yeah.
So it's like Facebook stories, Instagram reels, carousel posts, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, you can go out YouTube shorts, 11 different placements.
Yeah.
And then 4 different locations.
Yeah. Wow.
And so you're building that 7 hours that someone can spend with you. Most people don't even have enough content for someone to be able to sit with them for 7 hours.
Right.
So you got like stay the course with that.
Yeah.
You're doing the 11 different placements. You're showing up in multiple locations. Like people see ProLine at different events. They see them like whether also in webinars too. Like they see you in different places, and as a result, they'll buy from you. So there's like a fundamental rule that goes along with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What do you think the number one thing for, we'll say for roofing contractors specifically, a roofing contractor that wants to do better at personal branding and content for their local market? What's the one thing you think that they should be focused on first in 2026 to do better?
And the one thing that a roofer in 2026 can do better to be able to absolutely crush personal brand is the same thing that everybody else that's looking at personal brand can do. And that is to come to their most authentic self as they are building their personal brand. Because if, one of the biggest problems that I see is people will they'll look at something else and they'll mimic it. And so what happens when you mimic it? You're just copying the same thing that somebody else did. And you completely abandon all the things that proprietarily make you, right? You're not vulnerable. You don't share stories about yourself. You're just copying maybe some trends that you see online, or some hooks, or you grab an audio to make an edit to. And you don't take enough time to actually showcase your weaknesses, or to showcase bad times, or to showcase the things that make you the most relatable.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to be like the expert, but the year of the expert is, and I'll tell anybody this to their face, the year of the experts, that people would rather sit with the student trying to learn something.
Yeah.
And so if a roofer is trying to dominate personal brand within their market and separate themselves, it's the one thing that no marketer is going to tell you. Every marketer is going to tell you, use our tech and use our system and use our product to differentiate you. You know what I'm going to tell people? I'm going to tell people you should start writing. You should start writing out personal stories. You should start, I think I might even review this.
Yeah.
Go through your entire life, look at 6 chapters in your life, and write out every single possible memory that made a good impact, a bad impact, and experience something that you observed within those 6 pillars. And by the way, I got my book around here. I'm going through the same thing.
Yeah.
I got hundreds of different stories that I'm writing out.
Yeah.
And so the biggest marketing thing that's going to help them with personal brand isn't going to be getting anything new. It's going to be reviewing the things that they've experienced in their life, and then sharing that, and then packaging it in a way that is relatable, and not being afraid to show dude, I'm toasted. I'm feeling burnt out in my business because I did, all XYZ things, and sharing those very relatable moments, because they think their customer isn't going to work with them because of that. That's by far, I've never, as a matter of fact, the reason why people have worked with me is because they've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, the realest moments that I've had. They've seen the wins. They've seen like the journey to get there. They've seen the relationships that I've had in order to get there. And so now when they talk to me, that trust is so high. Just, oh, thank God that somebody's just being real online.
Yeah.
Right? Thank God that like this guy's not going to run me for my money, because, you know, a customer might say like, thank God, like I found somebody that's just like a real person, not just trying to get my business, but like somebody that's actually doing something with their business.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing that a roofer or a blue collar contractor can use in 2026 to absolutely separate themselves.
Just be their authentic selves.
Yeah, and it's dude, it requires actual work. It's like being authentic is not just about saying like, oh yeah, I'm kind of like mostly myself. Like maybe, but like if you actually sat down with yourself and you're like, how did I show up in this space today? You might find that you put on a lot of masks to like be the person that you think you want other people to see, or that you think other people, you know, would get value out of, that I'm this clean, polished person. But it's actually the opposite. It's when you show the closet, and when you show like the full range of being human, that people actually
Relate to.
would do business with like other humans, right? Because at the end of the day, you're in a people business. You're not in a roofing business. You're in a people business.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, let's end on that. Thank you so much, Jon.
Oh, yeah,
Appreciate you.
Right on.